Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and legionnaires of all ages, welcome to, in our opinion, episode 4. I'm Nick the Geek, and as always, I'm joined by my cohort, my co-conspirator, and my co-host. I'm joined by the king himself, Jimmy Bebe. Jimmy, how the hell are you doing?
I am fantastic, and if anybody that follows me knows this is anything different, I'm starting to get some stuff going on here in my new office/studio thing with my girl. So I'm excited about that to finally get this wall filled up and all of this behind me.
I was going to say it's looking good, dude.
Yeah, my nerdum, fandom, whatever you want to call it. I'm getting it popping up. So that's got me excited.
This is good. How have you enjoyed wrestling this week?
It's been a roller coaster. I'm sure we'll get to the stuff that's been annoying me.
Oh, we'll get to that first off, because I figure there's a lot of WWE to talk about this week, so we'll get to AEW first.
Oh boy!
Now, AEW are currently running an angle that you and I both dubbed NWO Violent.
Ooh.
Right? It's been fine with Moxley doing what he's doing, but this week, now, I laid out a very long theory to you on Twitter the other day that I have about this, but I'm going to leave that blank for now.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it'll take up the first 45 minutes of the show. What did you think of Dynamite? And where do you think they're going?
I didn't like Dynamite. It felt like a very weirdly structured episode. And I'm all about kind of like the flow of a show. You got to keep me hooked from the beginning to the end. And it just was kind of like everywhere. And we were talking about before we went on. I'm one of the Mox fans, like of the people who critique AW. I'm one that's been like, no, Mox is awesome. I love Mox. And the angle, the NWO Violent angle is what kind of persuaded me to come back to watching AW full time, at least the full time that I was watching Dynamite Rampage.
Yeah.
And then he gave his little spiel about how he's trying to like help. And it just, again, your theory, I'm like, okay, that's like, it's going to be very vague because we're not going to talk about your theory yet. But I like it, but at the same time, it doesn't completely. There's too many dots that haven't been connected, so I'll wait and see if they do connect. But I'm just not a fan of that because it's like you tried to murder Bryan Danielson twice, buddy. That's not helping. That is not helping things at all. So, and I think the Private Party winning the tag titles. I don't know if we're going to talk about this, but
we are.
Okay, then I'll wait till then to kind of get my piece on it. It wasn't a bad show. It just, I think it just was this. And I like the shows to kind of, at the very least, just a slight trajectory up, not up, down, because I lose interest. So.
Okay. Well, on Dynamite, I thought one good thing happened, which is the debut of Bobbles. Our dear friend, Mr. Lashley, wearing his fine maroon leather suit. Now, Simon is of a similar opinion to me. We'll use the Motor City Machine Guns as an example. By the looks of it, the reason the Motor City Machine Guns ended up winning the tag titles was because the Lucha Bros couldn't be signed yet. However, it makes all the sense in the world at the age that Sabin and Shelley are at, putting the belts on them now, pulling the trigger and getting things sorted out. Do you think Tony Khan needs to do the same thing with Bobby Lashley and insert him into the title picture quickly as possible? Or do you think he's going to extend this swerve angle for as long as possible?
Which title are we talking?
It's got to be the world title.
No, I don't think then. Because I think the world title picture scene should be revolving around either Mox or the young people that are being targeted by Mox. You insert Mox, if you insert Lashley into that, you're literally just doing more of what AEW was supposed to be the anti of. It was supposed to present these opportunities for people who never got them before. It was, and by just, again, putting Bobby Lashley in there, you're like, okay, why? Just why? And also, hey, Russ, what's up, man? Good to see you, bud.
Hello, Russ. Sorry, I am very slow. I wasn't on the comments page.
He just woke up, everybody. Give him a chance.
Yeah, I've been asleep. Long story short, I didn't sleep for about a week, and then I passed out this afternoon. So,
But I will say, if you're talking about like the international title, I think that would be fine for Lashley. I don't mind that one. So
No, I'd be fine with the international title. I think he fits in that picture as well. And I think a Takeshita versus Lashley match would be really, really good.
fantastic.
Very, very good match. Other than that, obviously, Orange Cassidy, the 20-year veteran now, which still boggles my mind that he's been going since 2004, is being pushed as Moxley's next challenger, which I'm fine with. There are a lot of people who said, oh, he shouldn't be in the world title picture. He'll never win the world title. I don't think he's going to win the world title, but I think he's a phenomenal choice for a challenger for Moxley in the AEW landscape. Would you agree?
Absolutely. He's beat Mox. So it makes sense that these guys are turning to Cassidy for help and guidance. Like, hey, man, we know you have what it takes to kind of take him down. We need you. And I know a lot of people weren't like feeling his promo based on what I saw. I liked it because it's not Orange Cassidy. It kind of shows the severity of the issue. I think Orange Cassidy did a good job of selling the NWO violent angle more so than Mox did on Dynamite, because it wasn't Orange Cassidy. It was whatever his real name is. That's what it kind of came across to me. Like, he's there to save AEW, and that's what the angle is supposed to be. So Orange Cassidy is a fine person for his first defense. I'm very much looking forward to it because they have good chemistry.
Yeah, they do. They've always had good chemistry. Orange is a great worker, and anyone that says he isn't is blind. Yeah, he's a great worker in the ring. He's a great worker on the mic when he wants to be, even though he doesn't need to talk much because that's part of his gimmick. But I'm really happy with the fact that he's going after Moxley for this belt. I think it does wonders for Orange. I think it's good for Moxley because, yet again, there is the believability that Orange can beat him because he's beaten him before. So for me, it's a good enough angle, but okay. It's one thing I'm really not happy with on AEW at the moment, and that is Kyle Fletcher.
Interesting.
All right. Now, I was a huge fan of the idea of bringing United Empire back in and removing them from the Don Callis family and then having the Don Callis family fight the United Empire for a few weeks. It would have been good for both sides. It would have given Mark Davis something to do when he came back, as opposed to looking like he just got out of a gym and coming back and saying, no, bad Kyle, and then walking off. I think Kyle looks phenomenal with the shaved head. I think it suits him. I preferred the hair, but I think the shaved head does suit him in the angle. I do believe that Don Callis is good for talent in AEW. He does a lot to help the guys under his wing. He's kind of their Paul Heyman in a less of a degree. But now, minor rant. I've been watching Kyle Fletcher since he was 16 years old. I've seen Kyle Fletcher at 32 live events. I've seen Aussie Open at 37 live events. I've been watching that team for a very long time. I've watched them all the way through New Japan. I've watched them all the way through the UK scene, and now I've been watching them all the way through AEW. And to see them just literally destroy Aussie Open in front of my eyes for the sake of this angle, because he thinks Kyle versus Will is a big money match, when I'm sorry, it's not. It's not. It's just not a big money match. I love Kyle Fletcher. The Aussie Arrow is one of my favorite performers of years, but him versus Will is not a big money match. Not yet. They need to do a lot of work to actually make this a big money match. And I don't see where Mark Davis goes from here other than getting a quick beat down from the Don Callis family. And I don't think that does anything to help Mark Davis.
So can I counterpoint this?
Of course you can.
Okay. So I agree with the Mark Davis thing. I really don't know what you're going to do with him after this. We haven't seen if he's capable of doing something on his own. I don't think the Kyle Fletcher thing is as much about having a big money match with Ospreay as it is since Davis has been gone, Fletcher's flourished. Like, he has really shown that he's far more than just a tag team guy. He's a guy you could probably have in your main event scene. He's good. I think he's been missing something, and with the Don Callis thing, I think he's found it. I think this is going to work for him, at least short term. I like Kyle Fletcher again. That one thing that's been missing. Now that he has it, I want to see how far he can go, and I think this with Ospreay is a way to just kind of, even though they had a match like a few months ago, it's a different version of Fletcher now. It's one that's ruthless, and he'll do what he needs to do to win. I think it'll make for a far more interesting match than just the throwaway one they had on Dynamite. And again, it'll be to showcase kind of like how I talked about with the triple threat between Takeshita, Ricochet, and Ospreay. I thought Ospreay did a really good job of kind of taking a step back in that match and allowing it to be Takeshita's moment, as opposed to being a Will Ospreay show like every other match is, because he is good. He is great. And this is where I want to like really give Ospreay some flowers, because I think what he's done since he came to AEW is kind of similar to Mox. He gives them everything they need out of him, and he's willing to kind of take a step back when needed. Like he's there for the
perfect example was the perfect example is the world title match against Swerve that he insisted on losing.
He is AEW through and through. He's there for the betterment of the show. And I think this is just one of those instances where he's doing that again. I don't think Will should lose.
No.
But it's one of those instances where Fletcher can still get over and defeat. And I'm looking forward to it, honestly. I want to see this version of Fletcher. And I just feel bad for Mark Davis. I hope that he's capable of proving me wrong, and that he's going to kind of just be lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, it is an unfortunate side effect. But that's enough about AEW, because they haven't done a pay-per-view this week.
Private Party.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot. Private Party. Right. Now, I'm going to go first, because I'm happy they finally won the belts. I'm happy for Isaiah. I'm happy for Quen. I'm happy they won the belts. However, they didn't really win the belts when everybody knows the only reason they took the belts is because Nicholas Jackson is injured.
Is he?
Yes.
I didn't see anything about this. I know they're taking time.
Apparently, Nicholas Jackson is hurt, and that is why they are taking a hiatus. He's not got any major injuries. I think they just need to recover from built-up wear and tear. Nagging wear and tear that they need to recover from. So, unfortunately, because this is relative public knowledge, kind of cheapened Private Party's win. I do agree that they shouldn't have won at Wrestle Dream. And I do agree that they shouldn't have won at the match before, because it meant more for them winning this match now. However, they're not the Outrunners. I'm sorry, but in my humble opinion, the tag team that should have beaten the Young Bucks this time round should have been the Outrunners. Private Party could have lost this gig. Yeah, them saying they were going to split up before the match kind of made it obvious that they were going to win, because what are you going to do with Mark Quen when they go separate ways? I'm happy for Private Party, because they've earned this in the last 5 years. They've done everything that was required of them. They've done everything that was asked of them. But at no point have Private Party ever been positioned as a serious threat to the tag titles.
Never. Except for in the very first month of AEW, when they beat the Bucks in the tournament.
Yeah.
That was when they were kind of in a position where you could have pushed them a little bit, but then they did nothing with them. And they continued to do that with him for 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where my gripe comes in, because you have a team, and this isn't me just being an Outrunners fanboy, even though I am one of the biggest. I'll flat
as am I.
It has nothing to do with me being the fanboy and be disappointed they weren't the ones, because if Private Party had been positioned to be the guys to do it, I'm all for it, because I've been pushing for Private Party to get something for like the last 2-3 years. I think they're great.
Yeah.
They're a phenomenally fun tag team to watch. I love them. And if you were going to do it, I think you should have done it at Wrestle Dream. That's me. Because if you're doing it on a random episode of Dynamite, and that's what this was, I don't care if it had a cool little name, Fright Night or whatever the heck we're going to call it. It happened in the middle of the show. And then we talked about Bobby Lashley's debut at the end, which completely overshadows it. So you just basically rewarded these guys for 5 years of service by saying, all right, here's the tag titles, and now we're going to let this guy completely overshadow you. It was silly to me. That makes no sense. And my fear now is that by the time if they ever do pull the trigger on the Outrunners, it's going to be too late. It's just going to be, no matter how much I'm going to still love them, I know these acts do not last forever. They don't.
No.
At the height they are right now, because they are insanely over. One of the most over acts in the company. That's not going to last forever. And to not pull the trigger on them now, if you had to take the title off someone's like, and now you're doing a little 4-way at the next pay-per-view, which I'm sure the Outrunners will be a part of, and they're not going to win because you just put the titles on Private Party. And even if they did win, you just gave Private Party like what, a transitional championship,
consolation prize.
What that it's bad to me. Like, it's not good booking in my opinion. And those are my reasons. I'm not just saying it because I'm a hater or whatever like that. I just don't think it makes any sense. Had they done something to build up as opposed to just having some matches and calling them mid-carder? When was the last time you saw Private Party as a tag team win a tag team match against a viable opponent on any programming in AEW?
2022.
And then all of a sudden they're facing the Young Bucks. They lose. They face the Young Bucks again. They lose. And then they face the Young Bucks a third time and they win. And then here comes Bobby Lashley. And it's like, that's the talk of the night, not Private Party getting their crowning moment. It is bad booking. That I think it's silly. I think Private Party deserves better. Like, I'm not mad they're tag teams.
I'm of the opinion that the tag team title match should have been the main event. Yeah. I get Swerve's a big deal, but the Swerve Shelton match should have probably been the match before that or opened the show.
And then you basically are running the exact same angle with Bobby Lashley and the Hurt Syndicate that you're running with Mox. They're just going to come in there and destroy and cream everybody. And it's like, that's why the show was a mess, in my opinion. And it would have been nice, at the very least, if that would have been the main event. That was the final scene of the night, is Private Party being crowned. I would have been less judgmental about the whole thing. But it was just like, they came down to help take out Mox, and then the Young Bucks just showed up, and they're like, now we're having the match. And I'm like, I thought this was the main event.
Yeah.
What are we doing here? So it was all weird to me. I didn't like it.
No,
happy for them.
I'm over the moon for Private Party. But I bet you any money, even though Rampage is getting cancelled, that those tag team titles are back on Rampage on Friday. Because they're not on the books anymore.
I think one of the tag title contender matches are, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not 100% sure, though. I didn't watch Collision. I don't. So
I'm going to watch it while I have a tea. Right. But anyway, moving away from AEW, because that's enough negative for the week.
I feel now we're going to move over. But
no, okay, that was enough. Plateau this week.
Yeah, I was fair.
Plateaued this week. We're going to move over to WWE. Now, yesterday was Crown Jewel. We both said we enjoyed the show. It was fun. Nothing major happened, but we both have a similar opinion.
Something major did happen, but
one major thing did happen in the first match. Yeah. But you and I both have the opinion that it shouldn't have been the first match. Now, I am all for the big opinion that the title should be the main event. Always have been, always will be. The world title should be the main event. But this wasn't a world title match.
It wasn't.
This was a Crown Jewel shiny tool match for a belt that's never going to leave Saudi Arabia and is going to live in that WWE experience building in a glass case for the rest of its existence until they pull it out next year to do it again.
And it's insanely ugly.
It's hideous. They're both hideous. Both those titles are insanely hideous. But we'll go reverse on the show, Jim, because we'll get to the most important match, which started the show last.
One thing before we go, I do want to say, the counterpoint, the world title should be the main event. Main event, the definition of main event is your main attraction. And I don't care what anyone wants to say. The main attraction is still the bloodline.
Yeah.
Like, Cody's been a fantastic champion, way overhated, but the main attraction still is the bloodline. So, but now we can go in reverse.
No, I'll give you that. So we'll start with what. Whoop, lost my earpiece. We'll start with what was the main event, which was Cody versus Gunther for the Crown Jewel Championship. I thought this was a fine match. I thought this was an old school match. I thought this did exactly what it needed to do and had the wrong winner. I am the biggest Cody Rhodes fanboy in the world, as you well know. I'm a huge fan of Cody. I have been since when he first showed up, right, in WWE years ago as the tag team part, as part of Legacy and so on and so forth. I've loved Cody for this entire time. I've loved him through his entire Ring of Honor run, his New Japan run since he came back. I've been ecstatic with everything they've done with him. But Cody Rhodes should not have won this match. Gunther should have won this match. The belt is basically big enough and built for Gunther. Cody has been over-criticized for, I can't believe I'm going to use this term, burying people in his title run, which is an absolute joke, because what did Roman do for the past 4 years? He beat absolutely everybody, yet everybody turns around and goes, oh, Roman made stars.
It did.
Right? Yeah, it did. Well, unfortunately, there isn't a single champion on the planet that's following Roman Reigns' run and it being considered as good. It's not possible. When you held the belt for 1,200, yeah, when you hold the belt for 1,237 days, who is going to follow that and be considered an equal level of champion?
Okay. To do that, don't you think Cody has to win matches like this so that he can be like, hey, I am the guy that ended that run? You have to have him win these matches.
That's not why he won the match, is it?
Hey, I don't know why. Because that kind of stuff, I don't like. That's not why I'm watching. I watch it and make up these things. Like, I try to make sense of why it happened from a fan's perspective.
Let's mention the video.
I'm like, hey, Cody should be the guy because he is your champion. He is the WWE champion. He is your top guy, and he should be in those things. I will ask you, did that finish look very familiar to you? Yes. Who won a match that way?
That much I can't tell you, but
Bret Hart against Roddy Piper.
Yeah. Oh,
that little extra to Gunther for making fun of Bret Hart. I thought that was very clever.
No, I thought that was good.
So, but go ahead.
But this match wasn't really about Cody versus Gunther, and the video package they showed before the match showed it wasn't about Cody versus Gunther. It was about WWE versus WCW versus the NWA versus every other iteration of that title that has ever existed outside of WWE. And there was no way in hell that WWE's championship wasn't winning that fight.
Yeah.
As soon as I saw that video package, I knew Cody was winning. That was my problem with it.
When I did the prediction show on Thursday, I had Cody winning, and Albert thought I was crazy. But again, I think if Cody is the guy that ended the greatest world title run in our generation, at least in our generation,
yeah,
he has to be the guy that wins these matches. If Gunther would have won, would I have been mad? Hell no. I love Gunther. And I think it would have been a great way to kind of show that that title is equal. But Cody is your guy, and he has to win these matches.
Cody has to win these matches, but in my opinion, it's just my opinion, don't you think that him losing this match and then coming out on SmackDown and being all Cody, apologizing for letting the fans down, apologizing for letting everybody down, and then promising it will never happen again, to come on kind of a mini redemption arc where he has to, in his own mind, prove himself again, would have been good.
I like arrogant Cody, because that's how you get to the heel aspect of Cody, because he's getting to the point where he feels like he's bulletproof, and then when all of a sudden he is not, madness ensues. I think it doesn't hurt Gunther. He literally lost to the guy. If Gunther would have won, I'm sorry, there's nobody on Raw that I believe could defeat Gunther for the title, because Cody's beat them all. So at least by losing to Cody, it makes the belief that, okay, there's still people out there that can take him down.
Okay.
That from again, I try to make sense of things from just a fan's perspective, not like, oh, why did they book? Like, I'm just like, okay, that's why it makes sense.
Yeah.
Now, whether or not that's why they did it, I don't know, because I'm not in the back. I don't know. I just try to make sense of it in my head. And that's how I'm able to enjoy literally everything, or mostly everything.
Mostly everything. Right, well, moving on from Cody versus Guth. First, before we do, did you enjoy the match?
It was the best match of the night.
Yeah, it was.
It was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. Right, moving backwards to, was it next? Or I think it was Randy versus...
They did the Randy versus KO stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Randy versus KO stuff. Now, we are of the opinion, due to the reports today, that the reason that the match never really happened was because Triple H didn't want Randy to lose.
I don't know. I'll tell you this.
This is reports from today, from Wrestle Talk and from What Culture and a couple of others that have basically said they've heard from Meltzer, and let's take that with a pinch of salt, comes from Meltzer. And Sean Ross Sapp and a few others are reporting that WWE, it's come out that Triple H didn't want Randy to lose in this match, which is why he did the schmoz. Okay. However, go on.
I was going to say, again, on the prediction show, I predicted that this match would be a DQ. So I'm not surprised at all with what they did. It makes sense if you're going to extend this feud, which they should, because we only got like a 2-week build out of it. And this is Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens in the first time ever for a feud. Nah, Papa, we need more than just 2 weeks build to their first matchup. I want some more. And I think they did a fantastic job.
No, I loved it. I thought it was really good. I thought it showed the side of Kevin that needs to be showed, because we haven't seen this side of Kevin in a very long time. The prize fighter, the vicious, delusional, self-confident, over-obsessed Kevin Owens.
Dangerous.
The dangerous Kevin Owens that will do anything to win a match regardless of the other person's safety or well-being. And I think this needed to be shown. I think Randy did a good job, because Randy always does a good job in the position that he was in. He never screws up. It's Randy Orton. But a lot of people I've seen online, the discourse today is they're complaining the match never got started. I think you're a bunch of idiots. This is exactly what needed to be done. This puts Kevin back in the position as the killer that he is. And it shows that Randy will not go down for anybody, regardless what they do to him, which puts more stakes in future matches. It puts more stakes in the feud. And as you said, we only got a 2-week build. That's nothing for a feud like this.
No,
absolutely nothing.
These are two of the top guys of the last 10 years, and they're feuding for the first time ever. Give me a break, people. Give me a break. And I also want to point out that during this whole like nonsense that was going on, it also created another match that I predicted might happen back in September, where I think we're going to get a Survivor Series 5-on-5 match where Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce will be wrestling.
Yes. Well, you're not the only one that's come up with this. My brother has been going on about the idea of Team Aldis versus Team Pearce for months now. My brother has been obsessed with this match, and I completely agree with him. The fact is, Nick Aldis is more than in ring shape.
Yeah.
Scrap Daddy is probably more than in ring shape.
And if you're doing a 5-on-5 match, it protects Scrap Daddy big time.
It protects both of them. Right. I would love to see Team Aldis versus Team Pearce. Like, it needs to happen. It's the perfect opportunity to do it, because you've got a GM on both shows that happen to be a former wrestler. It's Survivor Series hasn't been about SmackDown versus Raw in a long time. Quite a few years.
And even though I really never really liked that format other than when NXT was involved, I think this one makes sense, because they've made it to the point where these guys are in competition with themselves. Yeah. And now that one of them has got their, like, took an RKO, that wrestler mentality is going to want to come out, and he's going to want to, like, hey, nah, man, we're going to handle this like we handle it in the ring.
Yeah.
And then when they pick their teams, you can literally pick people that are going to create storylines out of that match. The entire Kevin Owens Randy Orton thing was brilliant just for that aspect, because they created that match, if it happens, through it, while also extending a Kevin Owens Randy Orton feud that could probably go all the way to the main event show. So,
Oh yeah, Saturday night's main event definitely.
so
I
I'm
would think
excited.
so. Yeah. Also, moving on, slightly different twist, slightly off Crown Jewel because it's just popped into my head. Have you heard about the first Raw Netflix show?
I know it's gonna happen.
It's going to be in a stadium, Jim.
Hold up, bro. That's insane.
This is what Andy told me yesterday.
Let me look.
It's going to be in a stadium.
I believe in arena. I don't believe in
I don't know if they're going to do a stadium, but according to our friend Andy, it is going to be in a stadium.
First Raw on Netflix location, Intuit Dome. Now, in the Intuit Dome capacity is 18,000. So no, it's an arena.
It's an arena. It's an arena. Andy giving me false information.
You don't really hear the word dome when they talk about like locations, so I'm sure it's just a culture thing. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt here.
Okay, that's fair enough. Right, anyway, back to the show. So, before Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, we had the women's Saudi Arabian Championship match between Nia Jax and Dirty Dom Mysterio. Sorry, Liv Morgan. Now, you were happy about this, I'm assuming. Yeah. I was happy about this. It made sense. Nia can eat the losses till the day she goes to die.
She hasn't ate that much. Win. Like she hasn't lost.
No, this is what I mean. But Nia can eat losses without it hurting her. So I don't think this hurt Nia in the slightest. And pop quiz. Before this match, who's Liv Morgan beaten as women's champion?
Zelina Vega and Rhea Ripley, and that's it. And this is the conversation I had with Albert as to why Liv needed to win this way more than Nia did.
Yeah, way more than Nia.
You asked me a question about the Liv Dom storyline, like I don't have the answers, bro. Come on.
I know.
Hold on. Where's my notebook? It's right here. I got it all right here, man. It's all right.
But no, I enjoyed this match for what it was. Yet again, it keeps the fact that nobody has kicked out of Oblivion.
Good deal.
Which is good because I like it when finishes are being protected in the modern day of wrestling. Nobody has kicked out of Oblivion. There was interference, so Nia looks good because there was interference. I don't think this match got enough time. I felt like it felt rushed. It was the shortest match on the show. Sorry, the second short. It was one of the three shortest matches on the show because it was the women's tag titles, this match, and the men's triple threat that were the three shortest matches on the show.
I'll look this up while you're talking.
But I enjoyed this match for what it was. I thought it did exactly what it needed to do for Liv Morgan, which is make her come across as a more legitimate threat, as long as the numbers game is in play for her. I mean, did you enjoy the match? I enjoyed the match. Did you?
So this is one of those things where I watched the Cody Gunther match for the in-ring aspect of it. They're going to tell a story with their in-ring wrestling. And I don't grade that match the same as I grade a match like Nia and Liv because this is a storyline-driven match.
Exactly.
I don't know how much I love the storyline stuff. So I love this match because, again, it kind of did exactly what I thought it would do, which means it made sense. It furthered the Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton stuff that I'm very invested in. It just showcased, again, Liv Morgan. It gave Liv Morgan a win that she desperately needed. Like, she desperately needed this. And I'm happy for her because nobody on that roster has put in more work over the last few years than Liv Morgan. Like, nobody. And for her to finally be getting this opportunity and for it to be working for her, ecstatic. So I loved it. I love chaos, and that's exactly what the match was. It was chaos.
Well, I'll completely agree with you there. It was chaos, and it was controlled chaos, which I even appreciate even more.
It was the shortest match, which, again, when it's storyline driven, I don't care. Because it's not designed to be this fantastic 5-star match. It's designed to further storylines. So if you're going to give people more time to showcase the in-ring stuff, go ahead. And if you're going to give them a shortest match to something like this, I'm fine with it because you can tell a good story in 3 minutes if it's not in-ring quality stuff, if it's literally
Yes.
just the storytelling around it, you need 3 minutes. So they got 8 minutes. I'm not a time person, so I don't really give a shit, but that's why I'm okay with short matches being short, as long as the storyline surrounding the match progresses. And it did. So job well done.
Nice. All right, moving on, because neither of us have really got a complaint about that match. It did what it needed to do for Liv.
Yeah.
It did what it needed to do for Dom, so on and so forth. We're going to move on to the men's US title.
Yeah.
Where the US champ was a third wheel in his own title match. This match was built around the story of Andrade and Mello not liking each other. And LA Knight picking up the pieces at the end because they were too busy concentrating on each other to pay attention to him. So he won the match, which I am fine with because it shows LA Knight is a smart champion.
And he's a great champion.
He's a very good champion. It showed that he's an intelligent champion. It showed that he understands how to use the animosity of your two opponents against each other to capitalize and win, which I'm absolutely fine with. A lot of people have said they can see an LA Knight heel turn coming after what he did. It's rubbish. Don't be ridiculous. He's far too over. That man is way too over to be turning heel at this point in his career. Vince isn't here anymore.
What was it, 18, 19?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're going to do here? Get out of here. Or 17. Was it 17? He did
17.
Turn heel? Stone Cold?
Yeah.
Yeah,
17.
No, we're not that stupid, people. Come on.
No, it's not going to happen.
I think LA Knight might have been the third wheel. And this is why, like, when this Game 7 match happened and LA hijacked it and he made him declared himself the winner and all that, I was like, that's stupid. But now I'm like, you know what? If he hadn't have done that, I would have completely bought into the third wheel in this match. But because he did that, I feel like he inserted himself into that one and made himself a target. And then he was able to escape this match with a victory because of the animosity between the other two.
Exactly.
I saw a few people saying this was too much short of a match. Well, based on the pacing, no, it wasn't. That was a fast match, and not fast.
It was a very fast match.
Like they were doing
very fast paced,
quickly.
It was boom, boom, boom.
So
boom, boom,
when a
boom.
match is moving that fast, I don't want it to be long because then it gets kind of tiring. So again, maybe this is the time they were allotted, and that's why they did it so fast. It worked. It was a fun match. I was completely invested. The only thing that sucked was the little botch where he crotched himself on the top rope. But I thought the finish was amazing. It was an amazing finish. And LA Knight continues to be one of the better champions in WWE right now. Like, he's fantastic as that United States champion. I'm glad they took their time putting it on him because it's paying off big time.
It is. It is completely paying off. As you say, I do agree. It was a massively fast-paced match. It was boom, 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 move, 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 move. But I will point out that none of the moves were there for the sake of it. Everything was done for a reason. It moved it to the next sequence, to the next segment, to eventually lead us to the thing. It was a very well-paced match. It was a very well-produced match. I wish Carmelo had won. Just because I feel putting a title on him at this point shows you are going to strap a rocket to that boy and see where he goes, because he's tremendous. He's basically he's Sean's pet project. Is Carmelo Hayes, and he's going to get there. It's just going to take a bit of time.
So I said this to Albert again, and I think what they're doing with him is similar to Braun Breaker in the fact that he's learning every time there's a loss to Carmelo. Yes. He's learning. The paths are completely different. They just have similar trajectories.
Yeah.
The idea is to turn these guys into future main eventers for your company to be like the guys 3-4 years from now. And when Carmelo loses, it's a learning experience for him. When Braun Breaker has lost on the main roster, he's literally came back and bettered himself each time. Yeah. And I think that's what they're doing with Carmelo Hayes. So I think it would have been too early. And I know that sounds crazy because they put the title on Braun Breaker. But again, it's the way they're doing the learning part of this. And Carmelo is a cocky guy, whereas Braun Breaker is just a brute. He has to be his ego has to be checked And after every loss, he kind of is like, okay, and then he comes back better. And that's what they're doing with Carmelo.
Yeah.
I think, again, WrestleMania season is the perfect time to pull the trigger on Carmelo Hayes.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But I enjoyed this match. I'd say this was the most fun match on the card.
Second.
Okay, second. Yeah,
for me, it was the second most fun match,
yeah.
but it was also the second best match. It was really that good.
It was tremendous. I really enjoyed it. I'm disappointed they didn't put the belt on Mello, but I'm also happy at the same time that LA Knight retained because, as we both stated, he's a fantastic champion. He's doing a great job with the US title. He's already had more defenses in 3 months than Logan Paul had in a year. So I'm happy.
We waited this long for him to put the title on him, so it's like, give the man a run.
No.
It'd be crazy to give him a
that.
short run after we waited that long. Crazy.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. All right, what was the next match in reverse?
Seth Rollins and Bronson Reed.
Yes, Seth versus Bronson. Now, Jimmy, you're a fool because you actually thought Bronson Reed was going to win this match.
Can I explain why?
You can explain why.
Okay, so at that Raw, during the brawl they had on Raw, Seth got injured. So that's what they were reporting. So if you were going to do if Bronson Reed beat Seth Rollins and still protect Seth Rollins, sell the injury and have Bronson Reed go over here. I think Bronson Reed is starting to get into that category of Kane where, he's a monster. Yeah, he destroys people. But he never wins those big moments. Never. Like, what are we doing? From a fan, I'm pissed, man.
That's because he's not Kane, mate. He's Bam Bam Bigelow.
He's not even.
And Bam Bam Bigelow never won the big moments.
But why? Bronson
because
Reed
you need
is
the
over.
monster that fails.
No, because when Bronson Reed attacked Seth Rollins, those fans went from boo to one more time. They love him. You gotta push him. Now, I don't think it's over based on the aftermath of the match. I think it's far from over. So I'm willing to kind of take a step back and be like, but man, as a fan, in that moment, I was pissed. I'm tired of watching Bronson Reed not win these matches.
You see,
if he beat Braun Strowman, had he beaten Braun Strowman, I'd be less mad. But he didn't even beat Braun Strowman, man.
Right. Well, I wasn't annoyed because I saw this coming.
Shut up.
No, I will not shut up. Right? Because I saw this coming. The fact is, Seth was coming back for revenge. Seth is Randy Savage in this company. Seth is the modern day Randy Savage. Randy Savage, when he comes for revenge, gets his revenge, but it doesn't end the feud. Because now Bronson is more motivated because Seth busted his ass open. And Bronson, his own hubris, cost him the match. Because if he hadn't gone for the steel steps and got tripped and smashed headfirst into him, then stomped on the steel steps, he wouldn't have lost. He had the match won, but his own hubris and excessive violence cost him the match and enabled Seth to get his revenge. It's classic WWE booking.
Enough
which Triple H still does. Which Triple H still does because he loves the 80s and the 90s. And this is classic early 1990s new generation booking with monsters. This is how Bam Bam was booked. He'd destroy people for weeks, get to the big match, and then lose.
When are we going to break that, though? Because don't you think Bam Bam Bigelow should have been the guy at least once?
Oh, yeah.
Don't you think Big Van Vader in WWE should have been the guy at least once?
Yeah, but he was in WCW.
But I'm talking about in WWE because we're talking about how WWE books these big guys.
Agreed. No, Vader should definitely have been the man.
I wasn't even there for when Kane was winning the titles. I just saw him win the one and then lose it the very next freaking night to Stone Cold Steve Austin, which was just blasphemous and stupid. Like, at what point are we going to say, no, we got to let a monster run amok? Like they did it with Mark Henry. Mark Henry had a great run.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bronson Reed can be that guy.
Yes, but he's going to get there.
Okay. Now, the same thing with the Outrunners, how I feel like they're going to pull the trigger too late. How much longer can Bronson last while staying this hot?
Survivor Series is when he wins.
I think they're going to be on the same team. If we do Aldis and Pierce, I think they're going to be on the same team.
So, are you thinking that you're going to have Seth and Bronson on the same team and Randy and Kevin on the same team?
Yeah,
Yeah, because I was thinking the
chaos,
same thing,
bro.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Like stupid chaos.
Yeah, I was thinking the exact same thing. So I'm absolutely fine with that.
But the match was fun, and I probably would be like, "Yo, this was my favorite match had Bronson won." But I'm being a fanboy right now. I'm tired of watching Bronson lose, man. I love the dude. He's fantastic. And we all know how much I love Seth too. So it's not like I'm like, I hate Seth and he should. I like Seth too. I just think it was Bronson's time.
Bro. Well, we'll agree to disagree because I think his time is their follow-up match.
And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I'll be happy. I'll be happy again.
No.
We know this. I'll retract myself. I'll be like, I was wrong.
I know. Right, but moving on to the Women's Tag Team Championships.
The most fun match of the night.
Ooh. Correct. And unfortunately, Chelsea Green did not win.
I saw that coming, bro.
Yeah, we all saw that coming, but we can all hope. It was pretty obvious that Bianca and Jade were going to retain, in my opinion, because Bianca and Jade have done a wonderful job with the women's tag team titles. They have elevated those belts, which is what needed to be done to them for a very long period of time. You had Bianca and Jade as the stars. You had Io and Kyrie as the workers. You had Chelsea and
Piper as
the
entertainment
comedy, the entertainment, and you had Lash and Jakara as the rookies. I thought this showed everything they need to know. I cannot stand Last Legend, but she did a wonderful, wonderful job in there with Jade Cargill.
Thank you.
So, I'll never knock somebody's talent. I just don't like the character.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah. This match went exactly like I said it would. I hated the idea of thinking that Piper and Chelsea were going to take the pin, but I knew they would because you can't have Jakara or Lash taking the pin here in their first big moment. I don't say it buries them, but it kind of doesn't make us take them seriously. I thought Lash was actually
Kyrie and Oscar losing because they're the two. Sorry, Kyrie and Io losing because they're the two biggest deals in the women's division on Raw.
Yeah, Io is like massive. She's like probably the best as far as in ring goes. I think Io's probably the best in the world based on just my window of wrestling. But Lash Legend was the MVP in this match. Yeah. And this is crazy to me because the first match I ever saw this woman wrestle, I thought she was horrendous and she probably shouldn't be given any more opportunities. And she's proved me wrong. So go get that shit. She's awesome. I would have liked to have seen them win this match. I think that would have been a great way to solidify them immediately on the main roster and kind of introduce a new tag team for the division to help, take the batons from Jade and Bianca. But I knew it wasn't going to happen. I just thought it would have been a good idea. And this match was just an absolute blast. Every single person in this match had an opportunity to showcase what they can do. Minus Jade Cargill. Can't even extend her foot on a pump kick, man. Come on.
No, she'll get there. Bianca is working wonders for Jade Cargill. She's just going to take time.
Lash has had way more less matches than Jade, and I get it. Jade looks like $1 million. I'm just tired of waiting to see her look like $1 million in the ring.
Yeah, I know.
That's
it's getting to the same point. I think Jade Cargill is a case of she needs to be put in the right situations with the right people, and I don't think the tag division is that right situation or right person. I think Bianca Belair is the right person, even though I honestly believe the big money match for Jade Cargill is Charlotte Flair. That's just me. But I think she will get there. Right, but moving on. What else? Other matches have I missed off?
The Bloodline.
Is that it?
That's all of them.
Okay, well, we're getting to what should have been the main event then. For some reason, well, we know the reason. The Saudis want their Undisputed Championship as the thing. But Roman Reigns and Bloodline were relegated to the opening match because we all know if Roman isn't going on last, Roman goes on first. Now, this match was tremendous fun. This match was tremendous fun. I thought the angle that they worked through the match of the idea is the New Blood, that's what I'm calling them, the New Blood are completely on the same page.
Okay, Russo.
They're completely on the same page. And Jimmy, Jay, and Roman still are not completely on the same page because Jay came out to his own entrance. He didn't come out with his brothers. He didn't come out with his cousin. He came out on his own, showing that there is still a certain amount of separation within the old school bloodline that the new bloodline do not have.
And I'm going to say this, the perception based on those entrances was that Jay was more over than Roman.
Yep.
I could not believe I just said that.
Yep. It's insane.
I know this has a big part of it. Fans just like interacting and stuff. But the perception is there. It was like, wow.
Well, did you watch SmackDown?
Yeah.
You saw Jay's entrance on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Where that entire audience was a-cappella-ing his song after the music stopped playing?
Yeah. Yeah. He's
that
over,
kid,
man.
That kid is so over, it's not even funny. Like,
that's why I don't trash him. Like, I know he's over. No. I know it's just me that doesn't like him, but it works.
I don't like the yeet stuff. Yeah. I'm not a fan of it because yeet means a completely different thing in this country.
It means get the fuck out, man.
No, it means to hoof someone in the balls.
Oh, it's over here. It's throwing things like yeet.
Yeah, tossing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, over here, it's a combination of getting thrown out of a nightclub by a bouncer or getting yeeted between the legs.
You want to see me win? Yeet. What? You want to throw your win away, bro? What are you talking about? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Makes no sense. It makes no sense.
And another thing that doesn't make sense is it's the same thing as what? And we hate what? Or at least everyone else does. I don't. But it's like, that yeet what? Y'all can't hate one and like the other. That doesn't make sense. What?
No, double standards. It's complete double standards. But I enjoyed this match for what it was. Very happy with the finish. Very happy with the finish. Super happy with the finish that Solo got to pin Roman clean. Because I've been saying it for weeks. You've been saying it for weeks. The New Blood need to look strong if they are going into war games. They have to look like the dominating force that is hard for Roman and the boys to beat. But we are going to cut to the end of this match because we are fast running out of time.
I think the match was okay. I wanted to get that out. I thought it was okay. I felt like them being, I think they had planned doing the main event and then it got switched. And I think it was very easy to tell that things got crossed there because the match kind of didn't seem to flow well. But we can get to the post match now. The main part of the match.
The main part was your boy coming down to the ring to do a tremendous will he, won't he, whose side is he on segment with Sami Zayn, which eventually ended with Sami and Roman both going to take out Solo with one move and Sami cold clocking Roman with a hell of a hula kick out of nowhere. Jimmy, I know you must be chomping at the bit. Go.
So when Sami approached Jay on Raw, I lost my shit. And then when Jimmy was like, let me go talk to him, I was like, okay, because Jimmy and Sami were cool.
Never really got up. Yeah.
Like at the end they weren't cool, but like during the blood, like Jimmy
they were
and
always
Sami
cool.
were
They were doing the handshake and everything else.
So I was like, okay, I'm excited. And then at the end, I was like, wait, Sami's talking to Solo. What's going on? And then people started sharing the clips. Solo was the first person to accept Sami into the bloodline. And there was one clip in particular that caught me, and it was that when Solo was going out for a match, a singles match, they were going to go help, and he goes, no, I got this. And Sami's like, yeah, we'll let it be. And so looks at Sami and goes, just know that if I ever need someone's help, I'll ask you. And it pissed Jay off. And I'm like, oh, wait, are they about to just swerve the shit out of me? And then I saw a few more that kind of solidified. I'm like, they are going to do this. And then Sami came down and he did the thing. And I was like, I don't think he's going to join Solo, but it was there. And then when he hugged him and immediately hooked him, I was like, I blew up. And then watched it all unfold. I'm like, it's happening. And I thought we were going to get the Sami Roman hug, but I was like, it would have been very premature, so I'm glad it didn't happen, but I just can't help myself as a fan. If it would have happened, I would have lost my freaking mind. And then when they both went for Solo at the same time, Roman did an amazing job of selling during this entire part. I thought he was legit injured. Mm-hmm. So when he finally did get up to go and Sammy took off at the same time, I'm like, uh-oh. And I thought they both hit each other, but it just turns out Sammy clocked him. And I was like, oh. And now we got some drama. And it was so perfectly well. It was so damn good that as soon as it was over, I was like, the show's over. Because these are the types of things that usually end a WWE PLE. I got it right the first try that time. And so like when they're like, oh no, that's the first match, I was kind of like, oh, how are you going to follow that up? I thought the women did an amazing job. I want to give them kudos for that because they literally pulled me back in. But that's how great that segment was. It was fucking phenomenal. And I'm so excited. Hey, I'm excited for Raw because Sammy's on Raw.
Yeah, Sammy's on Raw. Whew. Jay's on Raw. So it's they've done a wonderful job of filtering the bloodline through both shows now, which I think it needed. Because it is the main angle. It has been for 3 years.
It's the main event.
It is the main event of the whole company right now. To see Sammy come down and do what he did was tremendous. To see the clash between him and Roman at the end, and then for Sammy to storm off was even better for me because it shows that Sammy ain't taking shit anymore. I loved it. I thought the match could have been better, but I enjoyed it for what it was. I was amazed that they went with Roman taking the pin when Jimmy Uso was right there, but I was ecstatic that they did because Solo needed to pin him. And Roman's face after he'd been pinned, oh my God, it was like hell had frozen over. He didn't know what to do. He couldn't understand how he'd lost. It's so good. Right?
And
it's so good.
The shot they caught of Roman sitting like Cody did at WrestleMania 39. Where he's like, oh, and then Sammy's in the background. Whereas when it was Cody, it was Roman in the background. Yeah. Such a fucking beautiful shot that tremendous. They don't get the credit for being that detailed when they really should. Because that was amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was absolutely fantastic. Right, but that was Crown Jewel. So, Jimmy, what's your opinion on Crown Jewel as a whole?
Again, I think it was a fun show. I think it had that closed the show and Cody and Gunther opened, which is what I predicted was going to happen. And this isn't just me because I'm giving you my reason. That was a main event ending angle that they ran to start the show. So it literally just kind of threw me off. And as I said with the Dynamite, I'm all about flow, and the flow was just kind of thrown off after that. But I wasn't mad at any of the matches. I thought it was a fun show. If you're a WWE fan, you probably really enjoyed it. If you're an AEW fan, or if you're a WWE hater, I won't even say AEW fan, a WWE hater, probably not a show you're going to like. And that's, I think, the perfect explanation for it. It was a very WWE show.
I will say that I feel the reason the pacing felt a bit off on this was because Triple H has done 5-card shows all year, 5-match shows all year. And this had 7 matches on it.
I see people complaining too, like this match probably should have just been on Raw. Like, shut up! I see you complaining all the time that you mad that they only do 5 matches. You want
more matches on the pay-per-view? All right, so
they can't win.
You can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. Right, but we're going to move on from there to my favorite part of the show, Jimmy. What is your unpopular wrestling opinion this week?
Yo, the 4-way for the #1 contendership match on Raw is utterly effing stupid, man. It is so stupid because Dom Mysterio
title shot.
What?
Dom's already got a title shot. Why is he in a 4-way?
Yes. And there are people that are like, oh, no, that's not. Yes, it was. Adam Pearce said if he can beat a former world champion, I will consider it. And then he beat a former world champion, and then they did this shit. Are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? The only way they could redeem this is if Dominic Mysterio goes in and wins this match. Because what the fuck are we doing? Oh, my God. I'm so mad about it. I don't even know if that's an unpopular opinion. I'm just mad about it. I want to get off my chest. Dominic Mysterio is #1 contender. And if they do that, if they take this away, this is no different than when they did it to Darby and AEW. Get your shit together, Triple H. Or Adam Pearce. P-Head Pierce.
Well, my unpopular wrestling opinion this week is that Joe Hendry losing the TNA title match was the correct decision.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell
No,
you.
well, basically, Joe, as you know how over Joe Hendry is,
Oh
viral
yeah.
sensation,
And I know he
everything else.
lost to Nick Namath. I know it.
He lost to Nick Nemeth
Yeah.
because of shenanigans. Well, the reason he should have lost this match is because he's not sticking around in TNA.
I thought he was signed through 2025 though.
Only till the end of January.
Really? Wow, the timing of that is insane.
Yeah. So he and Jordan Grace will be coming up for contracts exactly the same time in TNA, apparently.
No, it's I just looked it up. His is believed to be run through the end of 2025.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case,
I saw something where that he was going to be a very huge part of the show next year. Like he was going to be the guy.
you see, well, I heard that he was going to NXT.
No,
so
Jordan Grace's deal is up at January, but not Joe Hendry.
Oh, well, that's good. Well, in that case, I am changing my unpopular wrestling opinion to Jesus Christ. Why didn't you put the belt on Joe Hendry?
Isn't that the second time he's lost now?
No, I think this is. He had a 4-way where he lost.
Yeah, it was elimination style.
Where he didn't get pinned, and then
no, he did because Josh Alexander turned. Isn't that when Josh Alexander kicked him in the cojones?
Yes, it is. You are correct.
See, I follow TNA people. I do follow it.
Either way, Joe Hendry should be your world. If he is not going to WWE in January, why the hell did you not put the world title on the hottest thing in the company?
Because we got an ex-WWE guy running things, Bob.
Yeah, we have Nick. I have never been a credible world champion in my career, Nemeth. All right. He's never been a credible world champion. As much as TNA want to bag him up to being a credible world champion, he had one Money in the Bank victory to a title that was completely secondary and a championship he lost within a month to, I believe, Alberto Del Rio, who was also never been a credible champion. Yeah, but still.
But yeah, I got what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But real quick, I will say an unpopular opinion. Baron Corbin, as much as I love the guy, I think it was time for his WWE run to be over with. That's an
Indy Hartwell's a total waste of space, and I am not sad that she got released. Just to
I'm not rude with it like he is, but again, I love Baron. I just think it is time.
Indy, I mean, no disrespect, but you haven't improved in the X amount of years that you've been in WWE. You've been in the exact same position. You have been the dead weight hanging around Candice LeRae's ankles, and maybe now going elsewhere, you will be able to find your character. You'll be able to find your niche, and then come back to WWE.
Go do a Drew.
Yeah, go to a Drew, do a Cody. Go find yourself elsewhere and prove that you are more than WWE saw in you, because literally all I saw in you was a pair of boots. And that was about it. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show. I'm Nick the Geek. You can find me here on the Wrestling Legion channel. You can also find me on the Geek Gaming over on YouTube, streaming every single night. I am streaming Final Fantasy, I'm streaming Ghost of Tsushima, I'm streaming Monster Hunter Wilds, I'm streaming Monster Hunter World, I'm streaming whatever game I am playing on that day for several hours, so please come along and give it a check. I'm a silent streamer, you won't hear me talk, it's just gameplay, so if that's the type of thing you're interested in, come over and find me on the Geek Gaming on YouTube. Jimmy, plug away.
The podcast, it kind of returned last week. It was a different time and day and all that other stuff. I just wanted to get the prediction show out, but we are back on regularly scheduled programming dates, all that good stuff this Thursday coming up. And we are going to be starting off where we left off with the Kevin Owens Superstar Spotlight. We'll be talking about our favorite moments from Kevin Owens or Kevin Steen's career, where we think he's going next. And just, it's a celebration of the man, Kevin Owens. So that will be this Thursday at 5:00 Central Time, if that's your time zone. If it's a different time zone, Google it. That's what we're told to do in the IWC. If you don't know what it is, just Google it. But you could follow me on Twitter and you'll find out anyway. So stay tuned for that.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, we are but two geeks obsessed with a good show, and our opinion means nothing without yours in the comments below. See you next week.
Toodles.
And we are still live.
It's been doing this a lot.